I think we're all starting to learn a little bit more about this administration, Kamala Harris, Tim Walz, what they want to do. They're talking about price gouging soon, price fixing across the board, price fixing when it comes to prescription drug prices. Seems a little anti-capitalistic, no? Congressman, your thoughts on this?
No, I agree completely. If the American people want to embrace a Biden-Harris plan to fix the price of drugs, then they're going to get the same results with prescription drugs that we got with the Biden-Harris baby formula situation. When you fix the price and you try to have the government control the price, then that affects the supply. And, you know, what the president just said there, he highlighted a couple of drugs that they put price controls on. But what he didn't say was about the thousands and thousands of drugs that have actually increased over the past 4 years. The drug companies are going to win one way or the other. And what Biden and Harris are doing is trying to fool low-educated voters into thinking that they're helping their drug prices go down, when many of those probably are on Medicaid and they don't even pay for their prescription drugs to begin with. Those of us who work and pay for our health insurance know that prescription drug prices have gone up considerably over the past 3 years. There may be one drug or two that has stayed the same, but at the end of the day, the overwhelming majority of drug prices have gone up significantly under the Biden-Harris administration. So this isn't a good plan for the future. You need to look no further than the baby formula. When the Biden-Harris administration came in with their FDA and put restrictions on baby formula, it affected the supply, and people were scrambling to find baby formula to feed their babies. The same thing will happen with drugs, just like the Inflation Reduction Act increased inflation. This plan to fix drug prices will increase the price of drugs and lower the supply of drugs.
Congressman, dovetailing off of that, Mark Cuban has been very public about his plan to try to offer people lower cost drugs, marketing them for cost plus 15%. Is this better left to the private sector?
Yes, it's much better left to the private sector. And I think Cuban has some great ideas about healthcare, and I really applaud his efforts to try to tackle this issue. This is a tough issue that honestly very few people in Congress want to talk about because it's so complicated, and you're dealing with big pharmaceutical companies and who I think are the worst actors in this whole equation, the pharmacy benefit managers. These are the middlemen that were created by Democrats to try to negotiate drug prices. What's happened is these PBMs have become vertically integrated. They've been purchased by the health insurance companies, and they own their own mail order pharmacies, and they're actually increasing the price of drugs in many cases. So every time the Democrats come up with a plan, whether it's Obamacare, whether it's drug price fixing, whatever, the people that actually work and pay for their health care and pay for their prescription drugs, they're the ones that take it on the chin.
It's called the Affordable Care Act, but in a lot of cases, it doesn't provide
Doesn't
care.
make
It's
it
certainly
so
not
much
affordable. Yeah.
Affordable. Congressman, let's expand it out. Obviously, the economy, the number one issue for all voters across the board, inflation. We haven't learned much about Kamala Harris's plan on the economy, though. Today was supposed to be maybe the kickoff. They're talking about health care. Again, to my previous point, she's going to start talking more and more about price gouging, price fixing across the board. This is a very socialist agenda, and your colleagues in the House, they wrote, make no mistake, price fixing has failed in every sector, in every country where it has ever been tried. If the American public wants to know what the plan is, it's left. That's what they're going to start unveiling, and I think what we're seeing on the screen right here, this is just the tip of the iceberg, no?
Yeah, you're exactly right. Look, we've seen 3.5 years of the Biden-Harris economic agenda, and all that we've gotten as a result is massive inflation. Every time working Americans go to the grocery store to purchase their groceries or their goods and supplies, they have to pay more than they did the last time. They're paying more for their prescription drugs. I don't know what Joe Biden's talking about at that rally, but the overall cost for prescription drugs have skyrocketed under the Biden-Harris administration. The price of gasoline, the price of energy, everything the Americans buy, rent, everything has gone up under Biden-Harris because of their big government agenda. More government spending, more government control. That leads to inflation. That doesn't lead to competition. This is not the route we need to go. There's never been a bigger difference